5 shocking facts about the Ottoman Empire you've never heard before. Introduction. When most people think of the Ottoman Empire, they imagine powerful sultans, grand mosques, and epic battles. But beneath the surface of this vast and complex civilization lies a treasure trove of strange, unexpected, and downright shocking stories that rarely make it into textbooks. Forget what you think you know, because the Ottoman Empire was far more surprising than most imagine. Let's uncover 5 astonishing facts that will completely change your perception of this legendary empire. 1. The Sultan who voluntarily gave up the throne. While history often remembers monarchs clinging to power until death, Sultan Murad too defied expectations. In 1444, he voluntarily abdicated the throne in favor of his 12-year-old son, Mehmed II, who would later be known as Mehmed the Conqueror. The idea of a seasoned ruler stepping aside for a child seems bizarre, especially in an age when royal succession was often contested with bloodshed. Murad, however, preferred a life of solitude and spiritual reflection in Bursa. But his retirement was short-lived. When foreign powers saw an opportunity to exploit the young sultan's inexperience, Murad was called back to defend the empire. He resumed power and led the Ottomans to victory at the Battle of Varna, proving that even in retreat, he remained a formidable leader. 2. A tax on beards, the price of facial hair. Yes, you read that right, at certain times in Ottoman history, there was a tax on beards. Although not consistently enforced throughout the empire's long history, various local administrators in the Ottoman provinces used beard taxation as a source of income and control. The tax was often associated with social or religious distinctions, especially when attempting to regulate how different classes and communities presented themselves in public. In some cases, the beard tax served as a subtle form of surveillance or discrimination against specific groups. Imagine having to pay just to grow facial hair, a reality for some Ottoman citizens. 3. The Janissaries were once Christian boys. One of the most elite military units of the Ottoman Empire, the Janissaries, began their lives in the most unexpected way, as Christian children taken from their families. Through the Devshirme system, young boys from Christian communities in the Balkans were forcibly recruited, converted to Islam, and trained as soldiers or civil servants. This practice, though harsh by modern standards, created a loyal and highly skilled class of warriors. Many of these boys rose to positions of immense power, some even becoming grand viziers. The paradox of enslaved children becoming elite Ottoman leaders is one of the empire's most startling complexities. 4. Coffee was once outlawed, and punishable by death. Coffee may be an everyday part of life now, but in 17th-century Istanbul, it was considered dangerous. Sultan Murad IV, infamous for his harsh rule, banned coffee along with tobacco and alcohol. He believed that coffeehouses encouraged political dissent and immoral behavior. His methods of enforcement were brutal. Those caught drinking coffee could be executed, sometimes personally by the Sultan in disguise. Despite the ban, coffee remained popular underground. The resistance to Murad IV's decree was so strong that later sultans were forced to reverse the prohibition, making way for the thriving café culture that still exists in Turkey today. 5. The empire had a complex spy network run by eunuchs and concubines. Espionage in the Ottoman Empire wasn't limited to foreign lands or military campaigns, it was alive and well within the walls of the Topkapi Palace itself. The harem, often misrepresented as a purely sensual or luxurious domain, was in fact a critical center of power. Female slaves, concubines, and eunuchs served as informants, messengers, and political players. The chief black eunuch, Kisler Agassi, had access to private correspondence, confidential meetings, and even imperial decisions. Women within the harem, especially the Valide Sultan, mother of the reigning sultan, wielded enormous influence, often directing the course of the empire through discreet yet powerful channels. It was a secret world where whispers held more weight than swords. Conclusion. The Ottoman Empire was not just a political juggernaut or a cultural powerhouse, it was a living, breathing organism filled with contradictions, eccentricities, and hidden truths. From child emperors to beard taxes, from coffee bans to espionage in the harem, its history is far stranger than fiction. These 5 shocking facts are just the beginning. Behind the grand architecture and imperial chronicles lies a world full of stories waiting to be told, stories that challenge the way we see one of the most powerful empires in history.